In addition to a description of the First World Parliament, we also describe here how we believe society can be made more robust and yet more humane. And you will hear from the panelists individually how these values will be upheld in various public policy areas. Now, to start off the individual presentations, I'd first like to call upon Pritam Singh. He will present to us highlights from our chapters on governance and civil liberties, justice, law and order, and arts, media, information and new technology. Pritam, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am briefly going to go through the key points raised in our manifesto on the chapters that cover governance and civil liberties, justice, law and order, and arts, media, information, and new technology. Can everyone hear me fine? Okay. Now, firstly, governance and civil liberties. The political changes made in 2009-2010 to increase the number of NC MPs in Parliament while retaining the GRC system and the gerrymandering of political boundaries is not the answer towards a robust democracy. Increasing the number of single-member constituencies from 9 to 12 still leaves 86% of the constituencies under the GRC system. Having a cooling-off day, in the opinion of the Workers' Party, is an insult to Singaporean voters, as similar arrangements have also been shown to be susceptible to abuse by incumbents in other countries. The Public Order Act 2009 gives our law enforcement agencies such wide discretionary powers that it further erodes the constitutional rights of citizens to freedom of expression and assembly. Of particular concern are three things: public assembly, the move-on order, and the restriction of filming of law enforcement activities. Under the public assembly provision, even one person acting alone is now classified as an assembly. The move-on order gives the police a new power to order that individual to leave a place for up to 24 hours, while the restriction on filming allows them to stop one from filming law enforcement activities, including crowd control, criminal investigation, or other routine matters, so long as the police deem it necessary to do so. Quite simply, the POA operates to prevent Singaporeans from holding the government to account, and the WP recommends that some provisions of the POA be repealed. The Workers' Party believes that the voting age should be brought down from 21 to 18. This will encourage young people to have an early interest in political governance. It will bring Singapore in line with most countries in the world, which have voting ages below 21, and be consistent with other laws which set 18 as the benchmark. For example, 18 to serve national service and 18 to enter contracts as provided by the Civil Law Act. Now, finally, in this chapter, the point that I would like to bring across here is the Workers' Party recommendation that the office of the Parliamentary Ombudsman be established. Any citizen aggrieved by the action of any public servant may, instead of commencing an expensive lawsuit, lodge a complaint with this office. If you remember, in 1966, the Wee Chong Jin Constitutional Commission recommended the establishment of a Parliamentary Ombudsman. The PAP government of the day rejected that proposal. Now, the Ombudsman really will be empowered to investigate with the full cooperation of the civil service at nominal cost to the citizen, with powers to advise on corrective actions and to recommend prosecutions. This process, the Workers' Party believes, will enhance government accountability and give more options for citizen redress. I will now move on to the second chapter, Justice, Law and Order. Singapore's legal and judicial system may be well ranked on efficiency, corruption indices, and caliber of staff. However, these do not adequately measure the important aspects where the system still needs to improve, such as in the areas of due process, balancing the interests of stakeholders, and having sufficient accountability for executive actions. The Workers' Party believes that mandatory sentences for capital offences should be removed, as they take away the discretion of the judge to adjust the sentence to suit individual case circumstances. Under the current system of mandatory sentences, the real power to determine the offender's sentence shifts from the courts to the prosecution, who will decide which charge to proceed on to produce an appropriate sentence. For capital offences, discretion should be given to judges, to decide whether the death penalty or a lesser penalty is justified in each case. We believe that Parliament can set the limits on the degree of discretion depending on the offence. In addition, the Workers' Party believes that for capital cases, the trial should be conducted by a tribunal of 2 judges whose decision to impose the death sentence must be unanimous. On appeal, the death sentence should only be upheld if it is confirmed unanimously by all 3 judges in the Court of Appeal. Finally, adequate resources should be allocated to the home team to fight crime. The government should continue to monitor and moderate the workload demands of home team and police officers with reference to population growth, new crime concerns, and event security to ensure that Singaporeans are not adversely affected. Now, the final chapter that I want to spend some time on with you today is the chapter on arts, media, information, and new technology, and we're narrowing in on one specific proposal. Before I get to that proposal, a short preamble. Now, Singapore aims to be an arts and culture hub. Yet, global rankings of livable cities give Singapore relatively low scores on culture and freedom of information. Strict censorship laws apply to various art forms like filmmaking. Provisions of the Official Secrets Act and the Evidence Act protect most official information from disclosure to the public, without any counterbalancing provisions for citizen access or declassification after a passage of time. The Workers' Party firmly believes that we should enact a Freedom of Information Act containing provisions to allow citizens to gather information from the state and to ensure that the government puts out sufficient information. Temporary statistics and information collected by government, particularly aggregated social statistics, shall, as far as possible, be declassified and made available in the public domain to promote research and inform debate on matters of public interest. Official secrets should be declassified after a minimum period of time has passed or as soon as the information is no longer sensitive. We believe this will enable the public to debate the course of history and deepen citizens' understanding of key events. Finally, a Privacy Act should be enacted to ensure that ordinary citizens' right to privacy are protected. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attention on my briefing, which covered these 3 chapters. We'll take questions at the end, I suppose, Chairman. And I will now hand over the microphone to the next speaker. Thank you very much.